Good morning, you lovely, lovely people. It's a bloody hot day this morning, considering there's a typhoon about. This is a video, it's a warning video for maybe some foreigners who don't know, or maybe for some foreigners who are feeling foolish. But there's a lot of protests going on in the Philippines right now, kind of anti-corruption and fair governance. And it's not just based in Manila, these rallies, they are everywhere. I was in Dipolog City yesterday, and there were rallies, not as big, but nevertheless there were some rallies, protests going on. Now, as most of you people will know, where's my Jackie? He's up there. As most of you people will know, or you should know, I'm going to highlight in this video is foreigners, no matter what the protest is, the rally, anything, we cannot, should not, and will not get involved. People, if you want to get deported, that's the way to do it. If you want to get deported very, very quickly, this is the thing to do if that's what you want, because you will get deported. Foreigners stand out like a sore thumb in anything in the Philippines, but especially protesting in a rally. Now, yesterday, my wife, I didn't see until my wife pointed it out. And how stupid. We was on the boulevard, and I had my phone with me, and I wasn't even going to do a video of the protest because I just don't know where I would stand with that. So I didn't do it. Now, there were some foreigners. Ooh, that was a coconut coming down. There were some foreigners who were walking alongside some protesters. Now, they weren't holding banners, placards or anything like that, but they were still walking with them. Whether they were protesting or not, I don't know. But why would you even be near something like that when you know what can happen? Now, there was lots of police around, but the police didn't do anything. They were just, the cars were parked up and the police were sat in the cars. There were some police stood with the machine guns. And nothing, while we was there, untoward happened. Peaceful protest, I believe. But what stuck out was what my wife saw, being foreigners. Now, I saw them, but they were walking, not with them, but they were walking alongside of them. So the protest was going on the boulevard, and they were walking on the road, and the foreigners were walking on the boulevard. Now, perhaps they were just walking on the boulevard, but they were keeping this same pace as the protesters. Now, it was probably all innocent. Probably innocent what they were doing, but what I'm trying to highlight here is, do you need to be anywhere near that when you know the consequences? Like I said, if you want to get deported very quickly, then now's the perfect time to be doing it. You know, to be joining these protests if that's what you want, because you will get deported. It's a big, 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 big no-no, and it's the first protest that I've kind of witnessed here. I mean, they're probably going around the country, which I don't know about, but this one I think is a nationwide, and it's against the anti-corruption, like I said, and fair governments and blah blah blah. That which it's nothing to do with us. Why would we want to get involved in something that doesn't? It doesn't matter what happens here. It doesn't matter if the government are corrupt or not corrupt. It doesn't affect us. It doesn't affect us. We come here with our own money or with our own ways of earning money. The corruption, like these flood barriers that have been, it's come to light that there's a lot of millions and millions of Philippine peso. It's just been taken, and these jobs haven't been completed. So I think it's something to do with all this rally, but it doesn't affect us. It doesn't. Why would we want to get involved? It's the same as someone going to our country and protesting when you just on a visa, like a tourist visa. Why would you want to do that? What good is it going to do you? What good is it going to do foreigners here if they want to protest against something which they might feel strongly about? And also, once you've been deported for any kind of political movement, it's very difficult then to get into another country. Not just the Philippines, but it probably will go on a database where you are like a political activist or something like that. I know there's many people who feel very strongly about these things, but in your own country, it's okay, to protest in our own country, for things that we believe in and things we feel strongly about. But here, it's not the thing to do. I think in any country, it's not the thing to do. But we're talking of the Philippines because that's where I am, and that's where these protests are going on right now. And I'm going to see if my camera's working. Yes, it's still working. It's still working. So people, stay away from them. Like I said, it doesn't matter what happens here. It's like the voting times of the Philippines. And, there's a lot of nasty things happen, a lot of, politicians are taken out. And many foreigners think, oh God, it's a very dangerous place. It doesn't affect us, because we're not involved in being a councillor or a governor or a mayor. We can't, it's impossible. So it's only dangerous for the people involved in these activities. The Philippines, to me, is not a dangerous place. I know there's a lot of people who think it bloody is a dangerous place. Like, just recently there's been, some Koreans and Japanese and that's, faced their consequences of maybe showing off their money or so. I don't know what happened. But yes, it can happen. But I think if you keep your nose clean, you keep yourself to yourself, like you do in your own country. You keep your nose clean in your own country. You have your own circle of friends. You don't get involved in things that don't concern you, And I've always been, with that mindset. Why do I want to get involved in something that's never going to bother me? It's not going to affect my life. It's not going to affect my way of living. So why would I get involved in something that could possibly give me a criminal record, possibly getting me deported and losing everything that I have here, everything we've worked for? It's just, for me, it's a just no. And when these people were walking alongside them, yesterday, I just thought, I don't know if they were with the protesters. Let's just say they weren't, okay? Well, it might have looked like they might have been, because they were walking at the same pace, not with them, but maybe 4 yards to the right of them on the boulevard. Now, they were keeping pace. Now, some might argue that they were just walking briskly along the boulevard. My friend, my own buntag. But I wouldn't have. I'd have just stopped and I would have sat down, or I'd have walked in the opposite direction just to show that I'm not taking part in this. Even if I wasn't taking part, I wouldn't have been doing what they were doing, because it was questionable. It is questionable. And I think the Philippine law is very, very, very strong about that. Even when I was in my own country, there was a lot of protests going on about, I remember the time of council tax. I think it was called, what was it called then? Was it poll tax or something? And there was a lot of protests going on amongst that. Now that, I didn't get involved in that. I didn't agree with the poll tax that Margaret Thatcher brought in, and that was a downfall, amongst other things. But I didn't get involved because I knew that protesting against something like that was not going to change things, and which it didn't. And for me, I just haven't got the energy to do that. The enthusiasm to join protests. If it was something that was not here, but back in my own country, if there was something that I thought by protesting against something, it might change something that I had strong feelings about, then I possibly might. But I've never joined a protest in my own country or in any other country And I've got no intentions of starting now. That's all I'm saying, guys. It's just if you're foreigners here and you don't know and you feel strongly about corruption and things like that of the country, then keep your feelings to yourself. And again, don't go around blabbering about the Philippines is this, the Philippines is that, it's a godforsaken place. Keep those feelings to yourself. Like I said in a video before, there's things that you say and don't say here. And anything to do with, politics, anything to do with, that kind of movement is just totally a no-no. And I know many of you foreigners will know this, but it's just for the ones who don't, perhaps. And yes, we all know, about this country, but does it bother you? We might get charged a few extra pesos when we go and buy something. Is that corruption? No, not really. It's just Filipinos are taking advantage. Maybe, but I think if we was in a similar situation, in fact, it happens in other countries. When I used to go to Europe, Spain, and places like that, on taxis, they wouldn't be upon you like they are here. They wouldn't be on you like like locusts in like a cornfield. But they would charge you more. So it's not just related to here. Here, I think it's a bit more open, overcharging us foreigners, like in markets. My wife does all that kind of shopping now, but I didn't mind if they would charge me 5 or 10 pesos over what they would charge a normal Filipino. But I wouldn't mind if those coconuts fell on my head. Come down here. And that's it, people. I just wanted to say that, And the Philippines is the Philippines. It's always going to have problems. I don't think it's got as many problems as England right now, though. Oh, did you see the protests there with Charlie Kirk? And yeah, I'm pleased I'm not there. I'm pleased I'm not in England and seeing the way it's, in my opinion, going downhill. A lot of people might have a different opinion, but I remember growing up in England, it was much more liberal than what it is now. You could do a lot more in England. It was a good country to live in. And many Filipinos think that the West, let's just say England, because like I'm British, and many people say, oh, England's a great country. It is a good country. It is a great country. It's just a shame the way it's going because of, is it bad governance? I don't know. I'm not politically minded, never have been, don't want to be. But in a way, politics affects us all to a certain degree. But England was a good country, people. But these people in the Philippines think England is the best. England, America, Australia, Canada, anywhere but here. And I think if only you knew. And they say, yes, but it's good salary in England. Yes, it is in some workplaces, but so is the cost of living. The cost of living is also damned high. So you aren't no better off, in my opinion. Why do you think so many foreigners come to these sort of countries? And a lot of my followers, or are they followers, I don't know, but people say, oh, it's only people who go to the Philippines who can't afford to live anywhere else. False. I could afford to live in other places if I wanted to. Japan, Korea, so I did spend time there. I just didn't like those countries. To live. Not that I didn't like them where I would never go back, but I didn't like them to live in them. Same as England. I like England, but I don't want to live there no more. I come to the Philippines because I did. And I'm one of the lucky people who can live here because I like the way of life. It's not because I have to. It's not because I have to live here. Now I've got more of a reason to, because I've got a family. I've got a wife, I've got a son. But I don't live here because I have to, all right? Which many people think about foreigners. They think foreigners go to the Philippines because they can't afford to live in their own countries. And, well, even if that was the case, so what? Does it matter? Of course it doesn't matter. People live where they want. People will do what they want. If they want a better life for themselves and they have to leave their own country because they can't afford to live there, which is very sad, incidentally, and we shouldn't have to do that. But if people do, then fair play. Because there's a lot of people living in these countries, England, who can't afford to live there and they can't get out. They stuck there. The dogs ran away. So really, the ones who have left their countries and come to these kind of countries are the fortunate ones, the brave ones, or the fortunate ones where we were able to leave and we were brave enough to bite the bullet and do it. But I keep seeing these people saying the West doesn't send the best. What's all that about? What's all that about? Yes, because there's a few bad eggs that come from the West to here. You can't tar everyone with the same brush. You can't do that. You can't just think because there's a few bad people that come to the Philippines, and there are. You can't think that every other foreigner here is the same as that, because they're not. There are some brilliant foreigners here, some wealthy foreigners here, some foreigners who aren't so wealthy, but it doesn't mean to say that they are bad. I think this is jealousy that goes on. A lot of people get jealous of expats, foreigners, moving to these countries and making a good life for themselves. It's jealousy, people. There's a lot of jealousy involved. Look, I've got many of these now, look, many. Many, they're everywhere, look. They are everywhere. We've got them in abundance. American lemon, they call them here. Well, I'd call them lemons. But that's it, people, anyway. So, whatever you do, keep out of this political movement or rally, whatever you want to call it, demonstration. Stick to what you're doing in the Philippines, keep away from them. Thank you, people, ever so much. Little last look at the house. This is my next job, is the tiling on the floors. I'm not looking forward to it, people. And the bathroom. Got to tile the bathroom as well. But I can't tile the bathroom, obviously, until the floor's tiled to lift it up, because I don't want this lip. This lip's got to be higher with the tiles, so the water doesn't come out. But yeah, that's it. Look, this is the life of Riley. Hello, son. Haha, he's not happy because he didn't come with me. He's not happy. So thank you, people. Always thank you. And take good care. Stay safe. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.